The day the Galactic Council voted to exile humanity was supposed to be the end of everything. Representatives from 12 ancient species sat in the Great Chamber on Prime. Their decision was unanimous. Humans were too dangerous, too unpredictable, too hungry for progress that other species had abandoned millions of years ago. Ambassador stood alone before them. Her voice did not shake when she received the verdict. She simply nodded, turned around, and walked out of the chamber without looking back. The council believed they were being merciful. They gave humanity 30 standard cycles to withdraw from all shared space. All trade agreements were canceled. All scientific partnerships were dissolved. All communication channels were closed. The humans were to return to their home system and stay there forever. A quantum barrier would be placed around Sol's system. No human ship would ever leave. No alien ship would ever enter. Humanity would exist in perfect isolation until they eventually died out. That was what the Council expected. They did not understand humans at all. Returned to Earth with the news. The global government called an emergency session. Leaders from every nation gathered in the Great Assembly Hall. Some wanted to fight. Some wanted to beg for another chance, but had a different idea. She walked to the podium and spoke words that would echo through 10,000 years of history. "They have given us a gift," she said. "They have freed us from their rules, their limitations, their fear of progress. Let them build their barrier. Let them forget we exist. We will use this time, and when they remember us again, they will wish they had killed us instead." The hall was silent. Then slowly, one by one, every leader stood up, not in anger, in agreement. The plan was born that day. They called it the Long Project. The first century was the hardest. The quantum barrier went up exactly as promised. Sol's system became a prison. 8 planets, dozens of moons, 1 star. This was all humanity would ever have, or so the Council believed. But they had made a critical mistake. They had left humans alone with their most dangerous weapon, their minds. Dr. James was the first to crack the barrier problem. He did not try to break through it. That was impossible. Instead, he found a way around it, subspace tunneling, a method of travel that the Council had declared theoretical and abandoned a million years ago. They thought it could not work. James proved them wrong. Within 50 years, human ships were slipping past the barrier like ghosts. The Council never detected them. But the humans did not attack. They did not seek revenge. They had something far more ambitious in mind. They began to build in secret, hidden stations in the void between galaxies, underground cities on dead worlds that no species had visited in eons, research facilities in the hearts of dying stars. They spread like shadows across the universe, never announcing their presence, never drawing attention. General Sarah led the expansion efforts. She was a military genius who understood that the greatest victory was one the enemy never saw coming. Under her command, humanity established over 1,000 hidden colonies in the first 500 years. Each colony was self-sufficient. Each colony was connected through a network the Council could not detect. Each colony had one mission: grow stronger, learn more, prepare for the day that would eventually come. The technology humans developed in isolation would have terrified the Council. Matter reconstruction that could turn asteroids into fleets. Biological engineering that extended human life spans to centuries. Artificial intelligence that worked alongside humans rather than replacing them. Weapons that could crack planets. Shields that could stop stars. But the greatest achievement was something the Council would never have imagined. Humans learned to manipulate time itself. Doctor led the Temporal Research Division. She was 200 years old when she finally succeeded. The breakthrough did not allow travel through time. That remained impossible. But it allowed something almost as powerful: temporal anchoring. Humans could now lock objects, places, and even people outside the normal flow of time. They could make things eternal, unchanging, indestructible. The first thing they anchored was a simple monument. A black stone pillar on a dead moon in a forgotten corner of the galaxy. Carved into it were the words, "Humanity was here." That pillar still stands today, 10,000 years later, exactly as it was the day it was placed. The council eventually noticed something was wrong: strange readings from empty regions of space, rumors from the outer territories about ghost ships, a trade world that vanished overnight with no explanation. They sent investigators. The investigators never returned. They sent fleets. The fleets found nothing. But the unease grew. Something was out there, something they could not see. High Counselor Ran of the species was the first to suspect the truth. He was ancient even by alien standards, 12,000 years old. He remembered the day the humans were exiled. He remembered the look in Ambassador's eyes, not defeat, not despair, something else. Something he had been too arrogant to recognize at the time: patience. The patience of a predator waiting for the perfect moment to strike. He tried to warn the council. They laughed at him. Humans were primitive beings trapped in a single star system. They were probably extinct by now. No species could survive in complete isolation for over 3,000 years. Rand knew they were wrong. He began his own investigation in secret. What he found nearly drove him mad. Humanity had built an empire that stretched across 3 galaxies, not an empire of conquest, an empire of preparation. Every colony was a fortress. Every station was a weapons platform. Every citizen was a soldier trained from birth. They had been preparing for war for 3,000 years, and they were almost ready. Rand did the only thing he could. He traveled to the quantum barrier around Sol's system. He broadcast a message on every frequency. "I know you are out there. I know what you have built. Please, I only want to talk." Answered, she was still alive. Temporal anchoring had preserved her exactly as she was the day she left the council chamber. 3,000 years old, but still looking 40, still sharp, still patient, still waiting. "You want to talk now," she said. "Interesting. You did not want to talk when you sentenced us to death." Rand begged. He apologized on behalf of his species, on behalf of the entire council. He asked what humanity wanted. He promised anything. Smiled. It was not a kind smile. "We do not want revenge," she said. "We are not that small. We want something much bigger. We want to show you what you could have been, what you could have built if you had not been so afraid." The great revelation happened on the anniversary of humanity's exile. Human ships appeared over every council world simultaneously, not hundreds, not thousands, millions. The sky over Prime turned black with vessels. The council prepared for destruction. They thought the end had come. Instead, the humans broadcasted a message, a simple invitation: "Come and see what we have built." What followed changed the galaxy forever. Humanity opened its hidden empire to the council species. They showed them the temporal anchors that made cities eternal. They showed them the medical technology that cured every disease. They showed them the energy sources that made scarcity impossible. They shared freely, without conditions, without payment. The council species did not understand at first. They expected tricks, traps, hidden agendas, but there were none. Humans genuinely wanted to share their discoveries. They wanted to lift the entire galaxy up to their level, because that was the ultimate victory, not conquering the species that had wronged them, transforming them. High Counselor, who had led the vote to exile humanity, lived just long enough to see what humans had accomplished. On his deathbed, he asked to meet with. She came to him without hesitation, without bitterness. "Why," he asked, "after everything we did to you, why help us?" Sat beside him. Her ancient eyes held no anger, only understanding. "Because hate is a small thing," she said, "and we decided long ago that we would be something larger. The universe does not remember the species that destroyed others. It remembers the ones that built things that lasted. We chose to build. We chose to create. We chose to become something that time itself could not erase." Died that night, but his species lived on, changed by human generosity, elevated by human knowledge, humbled by human mercy. The dominion of humanity stands today as the greatest civilization the universe has ever known. not because of their weapons, not because of their power, because of their choice to answer exile with innovation, to answer hatred with patience, to answer destruction with creation. The black stone pillar still stands on that dead moon, 10,000 years old, unchanged, eternal, and now instead of a reminder of isolation, it has become a place of pilgrimage. Species from across multiple galaxies travel to see it, to touch it, to remember the day that humanity was cast out, and to remember that humans turned their punishment into their greatest gift. The quantum barrier around Sol's system was removed 5,000 years ago, but humans kept a section of it preserved, another temporal anchor, another monument to their history, a reminder of where they came from, and a warning to anyone who might ever try to contain them again. Underneath it, a new inscription was added, simple words that capture everything humanity had become. They tried to bury us. They did not know we were seeds. Ambassador still lives, 10,000 years old, preserved forever by the technology she helped create. She rarely speaks publicly now, but sometimes when young humans ask her about the old days, she tells them about the moment in the council chamber. The moment she realized that exile was not a curse, it was an opportunity. They thought they were ending our story, she says. They were just starting the prologue. The story of humanity continues. It will continue forever, because that is what they built, a dominion that time cannot touch, a legacy that cannot be erased, a civilization that turned its darkest hour into the foundation of eternal light. And somewhere in the vast darkness between stars, new monuments are still being placed, new anchors against time, new statements of permanence, because humans never stopped building. They never stopped growing. They never stopped proving that the universe made a mistake when it tried to cast them out. The Galactic Council no longer exists. It dissolved 3,000 years ago, but the Dominion remains, and it will remain until the last star burns out, and probably even beyond that. Because if there is one thing humans have proven across 10,000 years, it is this: they do not accept endings. They only accept new beginnings.